Well, good afternoon. Thanks for tuning in to 12 News at Noon. I'm Nick Canizales. About 30 minutes ago, former President Donald Trump visited a border facility here in Texas in Weslaco. He's visiting the Rio Grande Valley in South Texas along with Governor Greg Abbott and toured the unfinished portions of the federal border wall, which is a project that's been paused by President Biden. This visit is coming after Governor Abbott announcing plans to build a border wall here in Texas. Now, Abbott has been raising money for the project through donations, and he's already garnered more than $656,000. Now, earlier this month, the Texas governor also put down an initial $250 million down payment for the wall. This money comes from the state budget for the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. As of now, Governor Abbott hasn't given many details on how he'll build a wall while avoiding all the red tape hurdles. We'll keep you updated on the border visit on air and online at 12newsnow.com. Take a look at this afternoon at our Skycam network in Orange. It's very cloudy out there, but the weather is actually pretty decent, 86 degrees, which feels really, really nice. Let's get an update now on your forecast with Jeff Gerber, who's standing by in our Storm Tracker Center. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yeah, we're waiting for some showers to pop up, but we're not looking at a big coverage today, about 40%. So a lot of folks won't even catch any rain. And look at the radar, a lot quieter than what we've seen over the last couple of days at the noon hour. You can see the lakes area, nothing going on. Down around the triangle, still pretty quiet. You get a little down near the coast, we are seeing a few isolated showers, and those will eventually try to work their way northward through the afternoon. So 30, maybe 40% coverage of some scattered showers as we go through the afternoon as temperatures make their way up to around the lower 90s. So a little bit more sunshine, you see a little bit hotter temperatures. Quick check of the allergy index, tree low at 2. Weed and grass medium, and then mold is still heavy because of all the moisture we've had lately. It's heavy. We will continue to see some scattered showers, just a 30-40% chance through Friday, and then this weekend looks wet. We'll have your holiday weekend forecast coming up.
Well, the death toll from the condo collapse in Florida has now risen to 16. 4 more victims were found in the rubble today. Around 150 people are still unaccounted for. Now, right now, 149 others remain missing, but loved ones and officials still are not giving up hope. This will be the 7th day of rescue efforts as crews continue to look for any kind of life. Now, crews have moved about 3 million pounds of concrete. It's painstaking work, not just because this was a 13-story building, but rain has made the rubble slippery and very dangerous. Now, there's more than 50 agencies and 900 personnel at the site, and even more are coming. The Miami-Dade mayor said that information about missing people is coming in from many resources, including many ways as detectives are working around the clock to sort through it. Federal firefighters are getting a pay raise of at least $15 an hour. President Joe Biden says that he was surprised and very angry to learn that those firefighters currently make $13 an hour. The formal announcement of the pay hike is coming later today. A senior administration official tells NBC News that the White House will work with Congress to make the pay increase permanent. The news comes ahead of a meeting between the president, governors, and also cabinet members and business leaders today to discuss how the nation can better prepare for wildfires. Well, today, former Smallville actor Alison Mack is facing a judge for her sentencing. Now, she pled guilty to racketeering and conspiracy charges in connection to the sex cult case. Now, Mack pleaded guilty in April of 2019 to charges stemming from the sex cult based outside of Albany, New York, where she was accused of manipulating women into becoming sex slaves for Keith Renner. Now, he was sentenced to 120 years in prison on racketeering and also sex trafficking charges. In a statement, she calls it, quote, "the biggest mistake in my life." Well, athletes who are also nursing mothers might have not been able to choose between breastfeeding and competing in the games. Now, Olympic organizers announced overnight that the women can also bring their children along. However, there are significant strings attached. NBC's Molly Hunter reports from London.
This morning, a victory for Olympic moms who have given us some of the most iconic moments of the trials so far.
Felix makes the team!
Like sprinters Allison Felix and Quinera Hayes, who celebrated with their children after qualifying for the U.S. Olympic team.
So to share that moment with her, it's pretty indescribable.
At least 10 superstar athlete moms will be joining the U.S. team. And they've been fighting for the Olympic Committee to take into consideration nursing mothers, making the COVID restrictions also make sense for athlete moms, and this morning, a win. The Tokyo Olympic Committee telling NBC News, after careful consideration of the unique situation, when necessary, nursing children will be able to accompany athletes to Japan. But they also declined to permit athletes' family members or other companions to accompany them to the games. And then the statement adds nursing children must stay in private accommodation, not in the Olympic Village. American marathoner Alison Mack was told earlier this week she couldn't bring daughter Zoe. Writing on Instagram, "I can't imagine even being away from her for half a day." Canadian basketball player Kim Goucher has been pleading with organizers for months to bring daughter Sophie.
Right now, I'm being forced to decide between being a breastfeeding mom or an Olympic athlete.
And new mom American soccer player Alex Morgan joined the campaign too. It's important to allow mothers the option to have their kids with them when they compete, Morgan said, adding especially when they're breastfeeding. Now, what's clear is that the organizing committee was not thinking about considering taking into account athletes who might also be nursing moms. Now, we asked the IOC about this, and they said today that actually their understanding is that not only would women be able to bring their infants to Tokyo, they would also be able to stay outside of the Olympic Village with their infants, and they would, and this is key, be able to bring a caretaker or a partner to help out. Molly Hunter, NBC News, London.
Moderna says that its vaccine showed promise in a lab against multiple COVID variants, including the Delta variant. They say that the vaccine produced neutralizing antibodies against Delta and Beta, which was first identified in South Africa, and Gamma, which was first found in Brazil. The data hasn't yet been peer-reviewed. It's important to note that the study was conducted in a lab, so the result might not reflect on how the vaccine performed against the variants in a real-world scenario. There's been a surprising rebound from pending home sales in May. The National Association of Realtors Index of pending home sales jumped 8% from April to May, even though analysts were actually predicting a 1% decline. This makes it the strongest May number since 2005. It's just the second month-over-month increase this year, but could preview a strong finish to the summer buying season. Now, a lot of people are in the market for homes, but many have been forced out by low inventory, rising cost of materials, and also record high prices for both new and existing homes. Now, most of the country is grappling with the heat wave, and experts are warning that it's important to know the signs of heat exhaustion, which can turn quickly to heat stroke. Experts at Baylor College of Medicine say that some of the symptoms of heat exhaustion include sweating, rapid heart rate, lightheadedness, headache, and also muscle cramps. You should ignore these symptoms like nausea, vomiting, or diarrhea because they can make it difficult to recover from heat exhaustion. Now, if you're feeling any of these symptoms here, you should find a place to rest. You need to drink plenty of water and also move to a cooler environment. Now, if someone's confused or if their temperature reaches 104 degrees, they should be taken to the hospital.